It is August here in Abaco, and that means that it's lobster season.
Like always, I'm here with my boyfriend Jake,
and we are gonna do an afternoon lobster hunt on our panga. We've just returned from a month-long trip overseas, so we're gonna be a bit rusty, so we are gonna stay super shallow, and hopefully that'll provide us with some lobsters for not only tonight, but for the days to come. I am also gonna have to do some impromptu with one of my fins. My Divar fins are pretty old. You can see that I have cracked it right there. So I've got one of Jake's old fins I'll be pairing with half of my fins, but if anyone has recommendations about new fins for me to try out, I'm in desperate need of some. And the forecast today is partly cloudy. We just got hit with some thunderstorms. I think those are moving offshore, but there's barely any wind, so it's gonna be such a beautiful evening. We are about to pull up to our super secret spot, and if you weren't aware, here in the Bahamas, the rules are a little bit different for harvesting lobsters than they are over in Florida. And in the Bahamas, you are allowed to use a pole spear or Hawaiian sling to harvest your lobster, whereas in Florida, you are only allowed to use a snare or a tickle stick and net. While you still can do those methods here in the Bahamas, it is far more easy to use a pole spear. So that is what we are going to do today, and hopefully we can get ourselves some. So Jake's going to throw the anchor and you can join us in the water. Here we go. And welcome underwater, everyone, to Morg's very shallow mermaid cam. And it wouldn't be a mermaid cam if I didn't find some kind of creature. So here's a little sea cucumber. I found him on the way to our lobster zone. This is arguably the shallowest lobster spot I have ever been to. This finger coral is literally sitting in, I'd say, 3 to 6 inches of water. It is extremely shallow. You could stand up and it would only be to your knees. But the lobsters love it, and we've found plenty of lobsters over the years here. I've decided to stick with my 3-prong pole spear. Especially when I'm diving in super shallow water like this, I find that the 3-prong pole spears are a lot easier to use and to get the lobster off of the spear as opposed to your traditional pole spear. Whereas if I had the other pole spear, the slip tip would be lodged either inside the lobster or all the way through, and you have to take out the slip tip and completely redo your setup. So this is the method I'm doing today. And what I am also about to do right here is dispatch the lobster. We are a little bit far from the boat, so in order for me to not have to take him all the way back to the boat while he's kicking and trying to escape, we dispatch him and Jake is going to shish kebab him onto his pole spear, and that way we can bring him along on our entire adventure with us. You can see that this guy went pretty far deep into his hole, and I'm being very careful to keep the same amount of force on the pole spear into the lobster, because if I were to just try and rip out the pole spear with the lobster attached, odds are that this pole spear is going to become detached from the lobster. So while he is still on the pole spear, I would much rather grab the lobster with my hands on the lobster's knuckles, or honestly anywhere where I can get a good grip, in order to ensure that I am not going to lose this guy.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
We also had to be relatively careful at the spot. We didn't want to damage any coral, and we also didn't want to hurt ourselves. And in some areas, this finger coral got within inches of the water surface, so we definitely had to do some maneuvering around these little coral heads. And on our way back to the boat, we were lucky enough to find this giant piece of debris, and this was a lobster honey hole. There was, I want to say, about 6 or 7 lobsters under here. I tried to be picky and obviously find the bigger ones. Any kind of structure that has holes or a little nook for it, odds are that there's lobster in it. Like the other lobsters that you saw me shoot, they were tucked up inside holes, and that's what lobsters love to live in. They like to live in dark spaces that they can hide from their predators. Wow.
God! I think some of them might still be under there. That was easy. Okay, we are slowly filling up the box. We've got 6 so far. We are more than halfway to our Bahamian limit of 10 per vessel. Let's go try another couple spots.
The next spot we went to was a little bit deeper. Not by much though. Our first spot, it's not hard to beat a foot or two of water. And then I'd say this is about 9, maybe 10 feet. And right away, the exact rock that we anchored over, I saw a little lobster sticking his head out.
That was fast. In the boat.
I was set up for success, so I thought, by finding that one lobster right away, but maybe he spooked all the other lobsters because we checked every single other coral head around this area and didn't find a single other one, not even a little short. Jake did find this little lionfish that he shot on his pole spear. Not sure why he did that because it took us a little bit to get him off, but we were cleaning up the reefs.
One more spot.
The last spot we went to, I was greeted with this giant school of juvenile yellowjacks. They were just circling me for about 5 minutes. I thought it was really cool. As you can tell, we are also in some pretty shallow water. Normally, we find a few lobsters off this spot, but we were struggling with finding any more. We did find some lionfish, and my hypothesis is that this spot has either already been picked through because it is middle of August already, or because there's so much prevalence of lionfish in that area that they are eating all the juvenile lobster. I hate to break it to you, but we weren't able to find any more lobsters, but we were able to find these really cool brittle stars. I love playing with them because they move around so fun. We got a little bored. The sun was setting, so we started making bubble rings. Let me know in the comments whose bubble rings you think are better, Jake's or mine. We had a successful hour or so of lobstering. We got 7?
Yeah, 7.
We got 7 lobsters, which wasn't quite our limit of 10, but for only going out for about an hour, I'd say that we were pretty successful at getting ourselves some dinner. We are back in the canal. We're heading back to the house, and I'll show you how we clean our lobsters. Okay. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. Here's our 7 lobsters. Now I'm going to show you how we ring them. As you can see, we have ran out of daylight. The sun has set, but still going to show you guys how we clean the lobsters. Obviously, we've got our head, we've got our tail, and really all that we're doing is twisting the tail off and pulling. So I'm going to securely grab hold of the head. You can see this indentation. It's almost kind of like a joint that the lobsters have right here at the base of their head. And that is where we are going to twist off, and the entire tail is going to come off all together. I'm going to do an entire 360 twist and then kind of bend and pull. And you'll see we have our tail, we've got our head that's totally detached, all of the legs are still there, its organs and things are still inside the head near its eyes. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna break off a piece of the antenna. This lobster head is going to go in the canal, and we are going to remove the poop chute. So we find the lobster butthole, then we stick the antenna from the same lobster head up inside the butthole. This lobster antenna has a bunch of barbs on it, and so when I pull it back out, it's going to grab hold of the poop chute and pull it right out, just like that. And then we throw this in the canal, and we do it with all of our other 6 lobsters. 1 down, 6 to go. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys can go catch some lobsters yourself. And if you're not able to, I hope you find a restaurant that has some Florida or Caribbean spiny lobsters because they are delicious. Bye!